Well, hello everybody out there in Facebook and YouTube land. It's me, Amanda, with Once in a Wild. Happy Once in a Wild Wednesday. We're back with our weekly live stream animal encounter. Are you excited? I'm very, very excited to see everybody joining in. Hello, Samantha. Hello, Donna. Hello, Viviana. And it's so nice to see everybody here at 6:30 p.m. Central Time. I know I'm just a couple minutes late. Sorry about that. I actually had to charge my computer for a couple of seconds because it was totally dead. So that happens sometimes, so technicalities, but it looks like we're doing good now. If I lose you guys for some other reason, I apologize ahead of time. It's going to be one of those days, I bet. But we are doing good. I hope everybody's safe out there. I hope everybody's doing well. And I can't wait to begin the show. Today we have a very, very special kind of theme today. We are going to be seeing and meeting 3 animal ambassadors, 3 regulars here on the show. But I do want to discuss the topic of rescue animals and whether or not you should adopt or shop, or maybe a combination of both, maybe depending on your situation. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. Feel free to openly discuss things with me as always. Feel free to type in your comments and questions down below as you're already doing. Thank you so very much for doing that already. And thank you so much, Donna, for tagging your friends. That is wonderful. And we love to see each and every one of our friends, family, and followers chiming in. And it's very interactive. So please let me know what you would like to know about the animals, or if you have any questions at all about anything whatsoever. We do have some merch I do want to talk about really fast before I forget. I do have stickers available at onceinaWilds.com. Here's one of our logo stickers. There are a few of them to choose from. There's one great big one like this, which I really love. Actually, this might be, I don't know if this is the larger one or the smaller one, but it's pretty large. As you can see, this is a full-sized Yeti, so it looks pretty big. There are multiple sizes, and there's even one that's actually kind of iridescent and rainbow shimmery shiny, which is pretty cool. So there's that one. That's my favorite sticker, just our logo, which is pretty cool. And we also have animal stickers as well, which are based on alebrijes. You know what those are. It's a Mexican art form, very traditional. This is an axolotl alebrije sticker. You can get these at onceinawild.com as well. And there are 3 animal design stickers as well. And right now we actually do have our t-shirts taken down off the website. That doesn't mean that we can't get you guys some t-shirts. We're just working on all the technicalities when it comes to selling t-shirts on our website. So I do apologize for that. We do still have t-shirt designs if you are interested in those. So please just let me know directly, either by my phone number or onceinawild.com. You can request a email or a call back that way if you guys are interested in t-shirts. We also have some other odds and ends on onceinawild.com if you guys want to check those out and see what kind of merch we have. So check it out. Let us know if you need anything and order it on the website, onceinawild.com. Our program, as always, is free of charge here on the live stream, here on Facebook and on YouTube. By the way, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do us a favor and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Those of you that are already subscribed, thank you so very much for being our subscriber. We are trying to get to 100 followers very, very soon. That's going to be our short-term goal, right? But the sky's the limit on how many followers we can actually achieve on YouTube, which would be pretty cool, or subscribers, I should say, on YouTube. So please subscribe to our YouTube channel, share our YouTube channel with everyone that you know would love animal encounters and animal content. We will have some more content on there very, very soon. So that's really exciting. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, as well as all of our social media is found at onceinawild.com. The only one I think that isn't on there is TikTok. We do have a whole bunch of fun TikToks on TikTok. If you find Once in a Wild Zoo is our handle over there. So please do that as a free favor to us. That's a really great way to help us out. Another non-free way to help us out is by, of course, buying merch or actually donating to our zoo. We do have a mobile zoo that we actually use our animals to outreach to our local area here in San Antonio, Texas. That is what we mainly do. And thank goodness we were able to do animal outreach in person once again. So we are very excited to be able to, of course, we have to wear masks and everything like that and be very, very cautious because of our current situation. That's just the way life is right now. But we are able to do small gatherings and bring the animals to you, the zoo to you, if you will, in person once again. So if you're interested in a small gathering with some animals, please let us know. We're working on a case-by-case basis. You can go to onceinawild.com or contact us with the number down below. Another great way you can help us out is by donating. Like I said, you can donate to Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal. All of those handles are Once in a Wild. Super easy. And those are always linked in the description down below for your very, very good convenience. All the links are down below in the description of our videos. So without further ado, let's go ahead and begin, shall we? And once again, welcome everybody. If this is the first time you're meeting me, my name is Amanda. I am the founder and animal specialist here at Once in a Wild. And we are a mobile zoo, which brings animals to all kinds of places. And that could be a classroom, that could be a birthday party, that could be a nursing home, that could be a hospital, that could be a office, all kinds of situations that we can bring in the animals to you. We can even do photo shoots with the animals as well. We've done that many times. And now we can even bring the zoo to you virtually. That is now a possibility with Once in a Wild. And actually pretty neat. We can bring the zoo to you, to anyone all over the world. In fact, why don't we watch a quick little video describing the Zoom room animal encounters. And I'm going to let my past self describe all of that for you and to you. And that'll help me out quite a bit while I get ready with our first animal ambassador.
Stuck in the house with nothing to do? Did your students miss their fun field trip that was planned for them? Are you looking for a fun team building activity for your employees that are stuck in the house with the same old Zoom meetings from day in and day out? Was your child's birthday party canceled this year because you're stuck in quarantine? Well, have we got the solution for you? Our Zoom room animal encounters are a great solution for you. In Zoom room virtual animal encounters, we can bring the zoo to you, but from the safety of your own home. They are fully customizable, and you can invite all your friends to join in and meet all the animals. They are fun, unique, and very interactive. It's also a great learning opportunity. And most of all, it's very, very simple. Just contact us to book your appointment and schedule your Zoom room. Then select the animals you would like to attend in your Zoom room animal encounter, and then send the link to all of your friends and family who are invited to the Zoom room that we provide to your email. And best of all, we can bring the animals to anyone, anywhere, all over the world. So visit us at onceinawild.com or call us today. We can't wait to see you.
All right. That was really fun, huh? And our Zoom rooms are really, really fun. I know we're slowly making our way back into real life situations, obviously, but we do want to be cautious as much as we can. Not all of our animals can actually participate in the in-person animal encounters, even on a normal basis. A lot of them are in training or they're just not suited for those kind of encounters. But with the Zoom rooms, not only can we outreach to anyone all over the world, which is fantastic. We have outreach all over the place. And not only that, but we can actually almost pretty much show any of our animals here at Once in a Wild, even the ones that cannot travel on a normal basis. And of course, it's very, very safe. If you're interested in a Zoom room, please let me know. They are appropriate for all kinds of educational and just fun, plain old fun type of scenarios. So please let me know if you're interested. It's a great way to help us out, of course, is by booking us for a program, whether it be a Zoom room or the in-person animal encounter, of course, as well as tips, donations, and I did forget one more thing: tips, donations, merchandise, encounters, whether they be Zooms or in person. But another way to help us out is through our Amazon wish list. I got a gift not too long ago from Mary and her kiddos. I did want to say thank you. If she happens to be on the show, I will say thank you. It's Mary Peterson. I believe her new last name is something else, but I know her as Mary Peterson. She donated a toy for one of our animals. And you can actually go to our website, which is onceinawild.com, which is down below as always. And you can go to our Amazon wish list. And I believe our Amazon wish list is also linked in the description of our video. But a good place to find that Amazon wish list is actually at onceinawild.com. If you scroll to the bottom, you can find a box that says donate to our Amazon wish list. You can't miss it. And then it takes you to that wish list that we create for items for our animals, and that helps us out quite a bit. So enough of all of that. I do want to make a quick announcement. We are going to be having a very, very special program this Saturday at 10 a.m. Central Time. We are going to be partnering up again with Once Upon a Party, and they are having Spider-Man visit us on a virtual encounter. That's going to be for everybody of all ages, of course, but bring your kids. It should be a very, very family-friendly and kid-friendly. And if you just love superheroes and love animals, come join us. We are going to be having some pretty cool creepy crawly and other friends join in as far as animal ambassadors go. We want to keep a Spider-Man theme, so as you can imagine, we're going to be having some spiders, another animal, but not just spiders. We're going to bring about 5 animal ambassadors to that program. And again, that's 10 a.m. Central Time this Saturday. So that is September the 5th. Can you believe we're already in September? Oh my goodness, I can't believe how fast this year is flying by, although it does crawl by sometimes. In a way, it's gone by pretty quickly. So I hope you guys are excited for today's program. That's enough announcements, and we do have other announcements I can probably talk about at the end if I remember. But please stay tuned to our social media, especially Facebook and Instagram. That will let you know what's going on. We are expecting some more partnerships, some more collaborations and things coming up very, very soon. So please stay tuned to Once in a Wild. That's a good way or a good reason to follow us, right? So today we're discussing a very specific topic, and that is rescue animals. So here at Once in a Wild, we do have about 70 animal ambassadors. And I say about because some of our Madagascar hissing cockroaches, which by the way are a hand-me-down animal. We did get a colony of Madagascar hissing cockroaches for animal programs from another person that didn't no longer want them anymore. So he donated them to our zoo, which is pretty exciting. But they are actually breeding all the time. So I always have baby Madagascar hissing cockroaches happening all the time. So I say about 70. That's most of the reason why I say about is because I don't know exactly how many babies we have, because there's a lot of them. So please forgive me that I don't know all the animals in our collection. That's why. Otherwise, I know all of them, obviously. But that is the reason I usually say about 70. So around 70 animal ambassadors. And several of them are actually rescues or hand-me-downs or a situation where they can no longer be cared for by their previous owner, etc. So I thought I'd talk about that a little bit. There is a little bit of, not really controversy, but like, what should I do if I want like a pet or an animal companion? Should I adopt or should I shop? Well, today we're going to talk about a couple of pros and cons when it comes to those scenarios. So most of the time, across the board, I'm going to suggest that you adopt first. So say you want a dog. If you can find a dog that already needs a home, or a cat, right? Or anything really, a horse, if you are a horse person. If you can find an animal that already needs a home and they're homeless, and they need a home, right? It's probably the right thing to do, right? So that is definitely what I would recommend if you can, is to adopt first. But adoption is not really for everybody of every animal, if that makes sense. There are specific animals like birds, for example, parrots specifically. Some other birds are usually fine, like chickens, ducks, doves, things like that, that don't necessarily attach themselves to like a particular person. And they might still do that. So every case is different and every scenario is individual scenario and different, right? But when it comes to like birds and things and some other animals, maybe it really depends on your situation, your experience. It depends on that animal's tolerance of new people or etc. There's going to be a case-by-case basis. So that's not really a black and white answer. It's all going to depend. We'll talk a little bit about that. And you guys let me know if you have any rescue animals in your life. That would be fun to talk about. And let me know what pros and cons you think might arise when it comes to adopting versus shopping. Shopping for animals, of course, is not necessarily bad. It just depends on what source you're getting them from. Sometimes we source animals from responsible breeders and things like that, but we don't want to ever go to like big mill breeders, like a puppy mill or something like that. Of course, we don't recommend anything like that. And if you can adopt and you're able to, and you can find an animal that's suited for you and that maybe is like screened for you, that's even better. Some animal shelters and adoption agencies, they screen the home before the animal will go to the home. And that's really great for the most part. They're trying to be responsible, right? They're trying to give you an education. So there's a lot of scenarios that can occur when it comes to adopting an animal into your life, right? But the right thing to do in general is to adopt before you shop. So I'm going to introduce you to our first animal ambassador. I know you guys are being very patient. Thank you so very much for waiting and for my long intro and all my announcements as usual. You know me. So if you have never seen him before, I'd like to introduce you to one of my very favorite animal ambassadors. By the way, all three of these animal ambassadors coming onto the show today are rescues, if you will, or hand-me-downs, or have their own situation like that. And all three of them that I've chosen today are some of my very, very favorites. So sometimes that works out really, really well, and you end up with an animal that's amazing. It's like this one. This gentleman here, his name is Slytherin. Slytherin is a California king snake. This species of snake is found right here in the United States, and they are, of course, from California. This type of snake is commonly seen as a animal in the humans. He, I believe, was a captive bred animal. I don't believe he's wild caught, but I don't know. So I received him from a family who had him for a long, long time. I think they had him for over 10 years, if not more. And they told me he was around 12 to 14 years old. I'm not really 100% sure because I haven't known him all his life. But they had him for a long, long time, and they could no longer care for him for whatever reason. So they actually were able to find me and offer him to our zoo here at Once in a Wild. And let me tell you what, he is my absolute favorite of all of our reptiles that we have Once in a Wild. He is absolutely wonderful. He is just beautiful. His name is Slytherin, if I haven't mentioned that. He came with the name Slytherin, which is very, very appropriate because I'm a Slytherin house. And I love Harry Potter. So that was kind of meant to be, I think. And for a California king snake, he's extremely calm. He's extremely tolerant of any handling whatsoever. And they did a great job with him, raising him up to be very, very docile and everything like that. But for whatever reason, they just couldn't keep him anymore. So I didn't really, pry too much in their scenario. I never want to shame somebody for doing the right thing when they can no longer care for an animal. I don't know if there was an illness in the family. I don't know if it was somebody moving off to college. I know it was the son's snake originally when it was a baby, but he's, a middle-aged gentleman. These guys can live into their mid-20s or 30s, so he's not super old, but he's definitely an adult-sized snake and an older gentleman, right? He's in his middle-aged years, right, Slytherin. And so that was all they told me. And they were super, super, super happy that I was giving him a great home. They were so over the moon about that. They really wanted him to go to either like a classroom or some kind of scenario where he was being kind of in the job of educating in public, because they absolutely love snakes, which was fantastic. We always like to advocate for my favorite animal, snakes. And I would venture to say that if I could keep one animal in our animal ambassador collection, it would be this guy. So isn't that a neat story, though? Like, regardless of the reasoning that they really had, I don't know if, maybe they were just not wanting to tell me. I don't know. It's fine. It's none of my business, honestly. What is my business is taking good care of him now. And that's just the truth. But he is one of my very favorites. I don't know what I would do without Slytherin. He is just fantastic. I take him to so many animal programs. He is such a wonderful, gentle soul. He eats really well. He sheds really well. He just sheds. He's gorgeous and shiny right now. Beautiful. Beautiful. And man, I just love him to death. So I think I will always have a California king snake now. Now, not all of them are super docile like this. I've known a lot of king snakes, including my other king snake, Jareth, who will eat your fingers because he wants to eat everything in sight. So not every king snake is created equal. And I do recommend, if you do want a snake, I would recommend if it's your first snake, especially if you're a pro and you've been keeping snakes for a long time, which some of you probably have. I know a lot of people that are reptile people out there. Hello, reptile people. But if it's your first reptile, I do recommend finding either an older baby, juvenile, or adult sized reptile, because they're a lot easier to care for. They're eating, they're doing well. For the most part, probably healthy, right? So you don't want to adopt something that you can't care for, like that has a lot of illnesses or something like that, especially if you are a first-time reptile keeper. But if you find yourself a healthy adult animal, that's ideal because these guys live a long time anyway. Now, of course, we don't know his age, so he could be older than we think. Who knows? But that's okay. These guys live a long time, and I'm happy to have him for however many years he's going to live with us, right? So we're so, so happy to have him. It makes me kind of emotional with all these animals that I'm going to talk about because they end up kind of, just kind of melting your heart because of their stories. And just like, I can't even imagine not having him. And it was just such kind of a chance thing that we found each other, right? Just so meant to be. And he's one of my all-time favorites. And a lot of people don't think that snakes have personalities, but they 100%, 100 and 200%, 1000% do have different personalities. Every snake is different. Every animal is different. So even another California king snake might be totally different than Slytherin. He's just fantastic. He's 100% suited to this kind of work. Anybody can touch or hold him for the most part, as long as they're gentle with him, right? I want to make sure my animals are safe when we bring them out to places and things. And he's just gorgeous. A lot of people, maybe they've never even seen this type of snake before. I kind of take that for granted because I've seen a lot of them because I'm in the reptile world and the animal world. But he's very striking, beautiful, and gorgeous. And I love that this is their natural coloration. This is how California king snakes look in the wild, which is amazing to me. Let's see what you guys have to say about rescue animals or anything in general while Slytherin just chills with me up here. Riggy's saying hi. Samantha's saying wahoo. Lisa's here. Hi, Lisa, saying yay. And Donna's, of course, tagging all of her animal-loving friends, which is very helpful, by the way. If you tag your friends in our videos and share our videos and like our videos, it's another free way you can help us out, right? Samantha's saying hi to Slytherin. Of course, she knows Slytherin. And so is Lisa. So you guys are just saying hello. Oh, here we go. Samantha just recently adopted a new animal friend, and that is Drogon. And he's a bearded dragon. And she says, I adopted my 7-year-old male bearded dragon named Drogon a week and a half ago. So he's brand new. Sorry, Slytherin. I was so excited. I blew air on you. But yeah, so there is actually right here in San Antonio in our area, there's a really awesome reptile community and reptile rescue organization. And if you want, I can actually throw a link down below if you want, or maybe Samantha can throw a link in a comment. That would be helpful in case I forget. But if I don't forget, I'll put it down below. And that is a really great way to source a reptile friend if you are looking for one. They have bearded dragons, they have ball pythons, they have leopard geckos, they have all kinds of things that end up losing their homes. And a lot of reptiles that we have at our animal team, on our animal team here at Once in a Wild, are rescues. We have several of them. In fact, I'm going to list a few of them. I wrote them down here on the screen. Shelton and Frank, our red-footed tortoises, are rescues. And I would say that Frank is more of a hand-me-down animal than a rescue per se. I got him from another family as well that had had him for a while. Shelton is a rescue from a rescue organization that was actually in Dallas. And I don't know if they're based in Dallas, but that's where I found them, was in the Dallas area. And Lulu, the black and white tegu that we have, is another rescue situation. I got her actually from a shelter in the Dallas area when I was living out there. And that was, the situation was she had been found in a neighborhood wandering around. They think she was either an abandoned pet, which is very irresponsible, right? You never ever want to abandon your pet to release into the wild, because they're probably not going to make it, or they're going to cause havoc to native wildlife. That's called invasive species. That's a terrible idea, right? There are many species, including tegus and iguanas and feral cats and things, that get released into nature, and then they cause all kinds of problems for other animals in the natural environment where that should be there, right? Yeah. So they think it was either an escaped or abandoned pet, which of course is terrible either way. And she was found running around in a neighborhood. And they caught her up, and they actually gave me a call because they had gotten my number from someone else. This was a dog and cat shelter, so they didn't really know what they were doing that much with the tegu, and fully admitted that. And they said, please take her home. And I said, okay, that's fine. I will adopt her. And she ended up being a great animal ambassador as well. And then we also have Patches the ball python. We have Eddie the bearded dragon, who was on here not too long ago. So there were many, many choices for me to bring on the show today, but I chose Slytherin the snake and a couple other ones, which are going to be a surprise here in a little bit. Boba the frog is my fire-bellied toad, and he is also a hand-me-down animal. And there are so many. Andre and Charles, which are two of my crested geckos. Crested geckos oftentimes are purchased from the pet store, etc., as a lot of these animals are. And then people don't really want them anymore. Many reptiles, especially tortoises and other long-lived reptiles, end up being passed around because they live so long. And a lot of people aren't ready for that long commitment, right? So that's a very, very big thing to consider when you are a human living. You know, maybe you're going to live 80 to 100 years, but a tortoise can live about that long. A red-footed tortoise can live into their 60s to 70. I would say 60s to 70s for that species. Some tortoises can live 100, 150, maybe even more. Some tortoises can live to even be over 200. So you have to have a plan for those tortoises, to say the least. And a lot of people aren't really ready for that commitment, or maybe they thought they were and they changed their mind, or their life situation changes in so many years. Or a lot of times animals are too much work for your lifestyle. So that's a lot to consider when you bring an animal into your life. There are so many factors and decisions that you have to make, and commitments that you have to make to have any kind of animal, even a dog or a cat. But dogs and cats can live a long time too. So a lot of animals get either abandoned, rehomed, etc. So many animals are passed around from place to place, and reptiles are no different, right? There are many animals that have come into our care that are similar to that. George the chameleon is another one that was actually given to us, donated to our zoo as well. That's pretty cool. I'm trying to think of any more. I think that's all the reptiles that I can think of, except for one that we're going to meet in a little bit. Oh, and Spot the boa. I have a Kenyan sand boa named Spot, who is also a hand-me-down reptile as well. So there's still so many. It does happen. And here it is. AlamoCityReptileRescue.com. So if you're interested in a reptile in the San Antonio, Texas area, that is a great source. Thank you very much, Samantha. They were very, very sweet to her and helped her out with all her questions. And even during all of this COVID stuff, they were able to help her out and help her get her new friend, Drogon. And she's so happy with him. He's like the sweetest bearded dragon ever. Eddie, the bearded dragon that we currently have, is a fun story. Eddie showed up on somebody's back porch here in San Antonio, Texas, and of course they are from Australia. They're not from San Antonio, so they knew that he must have been somebody's pet that either was, again, abandoned or escaped. The person that gave him to me is a friend of mine from the San Antonio Zoo that I used to know when I was working there and still know. And she contacted me to see if I would want him. And I said yes. So he showed up on somebody's porch. I think it was the back porch, but it might have been the front porch. It was a porch in the neighborhood here in San Antonio. And that does happen quite a bit. So you never know. So it's always worth it to look into animals, even reptiles and exotic animals, if you happen to be in the market for one, I guess, or you're wanting that commitment in your life. Tortoises are a huge one because a lot of people want to get a baby tortoise, but honestly, there's so many tortoises and bearded dragons and all kinds of things that already need a home now. Even dogs and cats, right? The list goes on and on and on. All kinds of animals need homes. So look into it. Even looking on Craigslist real quick to see if anybody has posted one. Be careful going on Craigslist. You don't want to get scammed. You want to be safe. Take a friend with you if you're going to go pick up an animal. But rescue organizations are the best way to do that. There's many of them. You just have to do a little bit of work to find them. And Slytherin is wonderful. I'm so happy to have him. Does anybody have any questions or comments whatsoever? Yes, Brian is the gentleman that runs and operates and owns Alamo City Reptile Rescue. He's wonderful. You said Drogon's watching with you. It's so cute. I wish y'all could post photos of him, but I have photos of him. I could share that another time. All right. Slytherin is wonderful. These guys are such amazing snakes. So the California king snake including other California king snakes, including other king snakes like this one, they are called the king snake for a very specific reason, and that is because of their diet. So these guys are known to eat other reptiles, not just rodents. So snakes are very important in the natural food chain, though, because they do eat a lot of pesky animals like rodents, and that goes for snakes of all different species and all types of predators, right, that help us with rodents. The reason they have to help us is because rodents will overpopulate if not kept in check. So if there are no predators to eat the rodents, then we have too many rodents, and then we have things like diseases and parasites. And Lord knows we don't need any more diseases this year or anytime. And rodents have actually caused a lot of problems with humans for, since humans were around. So we have to have rodents. We have to have rodents to feed the predators, but we have to have predators to keep the rodents under control, right? So we need snakes in our lives. If you see a snake in your own environment, please do not harm them. Please leave them alone always. I do not recommend anybody handling a snake if you see one, especially if you're not some kind of animal expert like myself. You want to make sure what you're seeing and what you are handling if you're going to handle it. So please don't do that. And also, I do recommend leaving wildlife alone in general, unless there's some kind of rescue situation where you have to lend a hand, right? We have to lend a hand to a snake sometimes because they don't have any hands. Oh my goodness, that was cheesy. So these guys, though, we should leave them alone to do their job. And please do not harm wildlife unless, you are in dire need and you're about to die, I guess. But please do not do that regardless. We don't recommend harming wildlife here at Once in a Wild. If you see a snake or any kind of reptile, bird, whatever it may be, mammal, they are there in the wild for a reason, right? For the most part, if they're a non-feral species, they're a natural species that's native to your environment, they're there for a reason. And it is very important to leave them alone. If you do have a snake issue, I would call a professional, either an animal removal service, or at least take a photo of the animal and have it properly identified first. I have done that for many people several times, many times. My whole life, I have identified wild animals for people. So if you ever want to send me a snake photo, that's totally fine too. But we do want to advocate for snakes. Even venomous snakes are there for a reason and should be left alone. Just walk away and they'll leave you alone if you leave them alone. They don't want to hurt you, and no snake wants to harm a human. They want nothing to do with us, and they're scared of us, right? Very, very, very important. But snakes are awesome. They have a fantastic sense of smell. They use their tongue to smell, not their nostrils. They breathe with their nostrils. And they don't hear very well because they don't have any ears, if they hear at all. So their main sense is going to be their sense of smell. They don't see very well either, although they can see. But they don't see color, and they mostly see movement and shadows. But that sense of smell is absolutely fantastic. And they have a forked tongue, which can take in scent particles directionally. When they stick their tongue out and bring it back in, it tells them information about smells in the air. That's how they can hunt their food, of course. These guys do eat reptiles. I almost forgot to say what I was going to say earlier. So we call them the king snake because they eat other snakes, including venomous snakes, which they are immune to their venom, which is pretty fantastic. That's amazing. What a superpower to have. So they have that incredible sense of smell to be able to find all kinds of food items like mammals, birds, reptiles, including snakes, as well as eggs, fish, if they can catch one, and even amphibians like frogs and salamanders. These guys are not picky eaters when it comes to being a king snake, and there are many species of king snake. They are a type of colubrid. Colubrids include king snakes, rat snakes, corn snakes, bull snakes, indigo snakes, all kinds of beautiful, wonderful animals. In fact, king snakes and other colubrids are my favorite category of snakes. Pretty awesome. Okay, what do you guys have to say about our beautiful Slytherin? And please let me know if you guys have any other animal rescue stories. I know there are so many of them. I had the most wonderful cat in the entire world. He was almost 19 or 20 when he passed away, we estimate, but I adopted him as an adult cat. Cats are one of the definite animals that I always recommend looking into adoption before you shop for one, because there are so very many cats in shelters, and dogs for that matter. But cats, to me, an adult cat is a much better option. This is my opinion, of course. Every situation is different, but an adult cat is going to show you their personality right away, whereas a kitten might be nice now and playful and love you, but then they might grow up and be a little bit of a hassle, to say the least. Some cats just aren't really the friendliest, right? So the best thing you can do is look into adopting one that's already a couple of years old, at least, or even a senior animal. Senior animals don't get adopted as often. So a lot of animals are there waiting for homes and shelters because they're senior citizens. I mean, Slytherin here is a middle-aged snake at least, right? Not everybody would want, you know, a non-baby animal, but I prefer them because I know that they need it. So that's one thing that you can do. My cat Elliot, who again passed away a couple of years ago, he was almost 19 or 20 when he passed away. He was absolutely the best cat in the entire universe, hands down, no contest, the sweetest thing, and he was up for adoption, and I adopted him a long time ago. I've had him for a long time, but he's a huge rescue animal, if you will, or hand-me-down animal that I got that I will never forget. He is wonderful. Okay, Slytherin, you are fantastic, and we love you, and we always will. Even though you're a hand-me-down, you're my favorite. What can I say? Don't tell the other animals, but Slytherin takes the cake. He's just perfect. Especially when it comes to being a snake. He's my favorite one so far, right? Now that's, again, if I had to pick. It's hard to pick your favorites out of all your children, right? In this case, they're all my animals on our team. But he's just so well suited for what we do, and absolutely no hassle. There's nothing about him I don't like. So maybe we need like 6 men. That would be the only thing that I could maybe change, is to have just like multiple Slytherins. But there can only be one, and he is one of a kind. And look how sweet he is. Like, these guys are very active, but he usually just kind of chills and is very still. And if you guys know anything about snakes, he's even kind of just like super, like, not limp, but like he just like he's so relaxed that he doesn't even tense up, nothing, but he still eats, which is fantastic. He is wonderful, and what a gorgeous, beautiful, natural coloration that king snakes are. Now, if you guys do want to adopt a baby snake, and I don't blame you if you just want to, you know, grow a snake on your own, or maybe you already have experience with snakes and you'd like another snake experience again, and you want to find a baby or a juvenile sized animal. Not necessary, honestly. You can find an adult that's still going to live a long life, right? Because most snakes will live anywhere from like 20 to 30. It's a long time. So even if you get an adult, it's probably going to still live a long time. There are a few exceptions that don't live as long, but most of them do live about that long. But if you do want to go with a baby, or any snake for that matter, that's not an adopted kind of rescue situation, you can go with a responsible breeder of animals. That is the next choice. I don't recommend going to the pet store to get almost any animal. and except for maybe feeder animals for your animal. I'd highly recommend going with a responsible breeder or something like that first. Okay, that is definitely my recommendation. So do me a favor and hold tight for just a moment. I will be right back after I restart my camera's timer and get ready with our next animal ambassador. How does that sound? Thank you for being patient, and I'll be right back with you guys. Once again, thank you so very much for your patience with me as I switch animals. This is a one-woman show, as usual, so it takes a minute to get ready with the next animal sometimes, and that's totally fine. And thank you so much for waiting. So here we have one of my oldest animal friends. I don't mean that she's very old. She's really not that old, we hope. We don't really know her age, though, because, again, she is a rescue animal. But I've had her for about 10 years now. I'm going to get her settled a little bit. This is Joanna the green iguana. Now, green iguanas are another animal that oftentimes will either get purchased as a pet or get adopted as a pet, right? And then people don't really know what they're in for. Not only do they live a long time, iguanas typically live anywhere from, well, 15 to 25, depending on how good of care. That is your average. So she could live 25 plus. I do take the best care of her that I possibly can. I don't know her age. A lot of people ask me how old she is. We think she's at least 14 or 15. I've had her for 10 years and I got her as a adult. Now, she wasn't as in good health when I got her, so there's really no telling. With reptiles, they grow and thrive based on their care. So if she had had terrible care her whole life up until me coming into her life, she may not have grown properly. She may not have just, looked proper and all the things. She is beautiful now, I think. Iguanas are huge lizards. A lot of people think they know all about iguanas, but iguanas are actually pretty special, amazing lizards. They're extremely intelligent, by the way. A lot of lizards are very intelligent. They're one of the smarter ones. I would say monitor lizards, tegus, and iguanas are some of the smartest lizards. And bearded dragons, too, super smart. Blue-tongued skinks, too. And smart is kind of relative, too, right? But very intelligent, always looking around, always trying to figure things out. Iguanas are amazing animals found in Central and South America, naturally in the wild. And they are invasive to places like Florida, and I believe Hawaii too. I think there's some iguana species, at least in Hawaii, that shouldn't be there and don't belong. The green iguana specifically, I'm not sure if there are any. I could be wrong. You tell me if you know. So Joanna the Iguana was found by me when I was walking around a flea market in Florida. When I lived back in Florida, long story short, I used to live out there. I'm going to switch hands. She's being a little bit picky about how I'm holding her. And iguanas are not the best pets, by the way. I do want to say that first. Do not get a pet iguana, whether it's a rescue or anything. Let the experts handle the iguanas, because iguanas can be quite dangerous. And as you can see, she's quite wily even when she's a nice iguana, which she is. She's very nice for an iguana. She's nice to me, but I've known her for 10 years, right? We've known each other for a long time. And even with me, she has her bad days. I'm just going to let her kind of settle. Iguanas are cranky. They don't really like to be held that much. We worked on it in our professional relationship to be able to get where we're at. Settle down, baby. Just kind of suck in air a little bit. She looks so slender right now. But they're not very good for handling. They have super razor sharp claws, and they have very, very sharp teeth as well. They also have a bullwhip for a tail. I'm going to stand up to show you her long tail. It's super long. It's not even in frame. These guys have amazing long tails, which they use for a weapon, like a whip to whip the enemies in the face. These guys are prey animals. They only eat vegetables, so they're going to eat the leaves of trees, flowers, fruits, things like that in the wild. And she gets a salad every day in my care. So, but they do use their teeth, their claws, their tail for defense, and they can even run away very quickly. They can go after you. They're just not a very good ideal, especially first pet, for goodness sake. A lot of people do get baby iguanas from like a pet store for like $5 to $15, super inexpensive. Nowadays, I think they're like $20, but still, very, very inexpensive, but their care is very expensive. They grow huge. This is a female. Males get about 2 to 3 times larger than this animal. That is a huge animal, my goodness. And males can be a lot more aggressive sometimes too. Females can be aggressive too. They're both very territorial. They can bite, they can scratch, they can whip. All the things are not ideal as a pet at all. And they're not domesticated. They're wild animals. So we can't blame them for being like that. That's the way they are. But Joanna, like I said, I found her in a flea market of all things, and I was walking around. And if you've ever been to a flea market, there are many different shops. Usually, sometimes they're pet shops. So she was in a bird and small mammal shop, not really a reptile shop at all. In fact, I don't remember any other reptiles whatsoever, except for this great big. Well, she's about 3/4 the size that she is now, because I've had her for 10 years, and reptiles never stop growing, right? As long as they have proper care. So she was about, I mean, still adult-sized iguana. She was in I think a 40 to 55-gallon tank with no perching in it. These guys are arboreal. They climb trees. They prefer to be up in a tree than on the ground. She was laying on the ground on mulch with no lights and no nothing in there with her and in the dark. And that was very sad. And I went over there and I said, oh my gosh, what's the story behind this iguana? And they said somebody had abandoned her. Somebody dropped her off at the flea market, and they were charging such and such money for her. And I said, do you really want to charge that much, or do you want to, let me take her home for $50? So I offered them $50, I think it was, something like that. And they said, that's fine. She also comes with a cage. So this animal needs an enormous cage to thrive. And the cage that they offered me was basically a carrying cage. It was just like trying to describe it to you guys. It looked like a suitcase to me, but with a screen on it. It was definitely not an appropriate cage. It was maybe a travel cage. I literally threw it in a dumpster. It was infested with all kinds of bugs because it had been kept outside. So who knows? Who knows the situation of this poor lizard? But I've had her for 10 years now. She's one of my very best friends, even though she doesn't agree. I think she's still sassy with me. But she knows that I feed her and take care of her, so she's very familiar with me, and she tolerates me. But she's the boss lady for sure, in her opinion. She's the boss of all. She surveys. She's the queen of lizards, that's for sure. So Samantha says, reptiles are too smart for their own good. Yes, they are. Emma Luz, hello. I apologize. I can't highlight your comment right this minute because I'm holding an iguana in both my hands. Are Mexican iguanas smaller or bigger? That is a good question. I'm not sure which species you're necessarily referring to. There are many, many, many species of iguana, but for a green iguana, these guys are the same no matter where they are. This is a specific species. If you're talking about something else, I'm not really sure. If you can send me a photo sometime of what you're talking about, then you can let me know and I will properly identify it for you. But there are several species of iguana that live in the New World, so Central and South America. So sorry I can't answer your question without further information. Yeah, she is so big. Elizabeth says, he's so big. This is a girl. Her name is Joanna the Iguana, and Joanna is a female iguana. How do we know that? Well, these guys are a dimorphic species. Dimorphic just means males and females look different, right? Maybe we swap sides again. Oh my goodness. She's a girl. Girls are smaller than boys. They also have certain features that tells me that she's a lady. It's going to be her cheeks are one thing, the size of her head. It's very, very obvious when you see a male iguana, what I'm talking about. If you look up a male green iguana, I wish I had one to show you the difference, but at the same time, I don't know if I want another iguana than Joanna. She's quite the handful, as you can see. She's kind of like a monkey and a lizard combination, and monkeys are not my favorite animal. They're very dangerous and crazy. Settle down, my love. Settle down. Yes, there you go. Once she settles down, she's a very good animal ambassador. And I absolutely love talking about her because they are such neat species. And a lot of people think they know about iguanas, but they really don't know everything. Iguanas are really neat. Like I said, they have all those features like sharp claws, sharp teeth, bullwhip tail for a weapon. So lots of ways to defend themselves. What are they defending themselves from? Well, in Central and South America, they have many, many predators. You can probably name some if you think about it. Big cats, small cats, and they also have birds of prey as well, or another primary predator, and also caiman and crocodiles and things like that. But there are so many other predators found in Central and South America. So they are kind of always on the defense. They're always assuming that everything wants to eat them. They definitely are a food animal. They're prey. So they have a lot of defenses to help them out. One really cool thing about iguanas too, not only are they tree-dwelling lizards, they climb in the trees. As you can see, she's climbing me like a tree a little bit right now. I'm kind of helping her out. They are very good at climbing. They are lightning fast climbing up a tree, but they're also great swimmers. So they hang out in the trees most of the time. But if they want to jump down into the water below for safety purposes, why would they do that? Well, it's to get away from a hawk or an eagle, right? So if they're up in a tree taking a nap and they sense a predator nearby, they can dive into the water and swim away. These guys are amazing swimmers too. They basically tuck all their limbs in and use their giant tail like a fish to swim across the water. Have you guys ever seen Godzilla? That's what that is actually based off of, is a swimming iguana. Pretty amazing. Iguanas have amazing vision, great eyesight. They have great hearing, great sense of smell, great sense of touch. They're very, very, very sensory and everything. So they're very, very visual animals. I would say vision is probably their best sense. In fact, my favorite fun fact about an iguana is going to be their third eye. It's not really an eye. They have a teeny tiny little scale on top of their eye. They're covered in scales, right? They're reptiles. Like all reptiles, they are covered in scales from head to toe and head to tail in this case. But she also has a clear scale, which kind of looks like a pimple on top of her head. If she settles down enough, I will try to point it out. Maybe by the end, I'll point it out for you guys once I'm ready to put her up. Because if I move her around, I think she's going to get all wiggly again. But that scale can actually sense shadows and movement when they're asleep. So they can go up into the trees, and they take frequent naps. So they're going to be kind of hanging out all the time in the trees, eating the leaves of the trees and the flowers and the fruits, right? And then they might take naps in between their meals. What a life. I would love to, oh, right on cue. She's going to shut her little eyes. It's almost her bedtime. She is so sweet. She is a diurnal species. So that means they're awake during the day and sleep at night. So it's getting late around here. It's about 7:20 over here. So she's probably feeling a little sleepy, or maybe she's just like, oh, I've had enough of this. But regardless, they can go to sleep, take a nap or whatever, and they can sense shadows overhead with their clear scale on top of their head. Isn't that amazing? And if they sense a hawk or an eagle flying overhead or anything that they don't like, they can dive into the water. They can dive really, really far, maybe like 100 feet, maybe more. They're very tough. These guys are designed to jump out of trees. They can even jump onto the ground from out of a tree and survive just fine. They're pretty amazing. They can also lose their tail in a dire situation. And their tail does grow back, but they're not really an animal that's going to lose their tail as easily as like a gecko or an anole or something like that that does lose their tail. Or even a tegu can lose their tail a lot easier because that's their defense when it comes to the tail. These guys would rather keep their tail around to use it for a bullwhip in case of emergencies, to whip their enemies in the face. That sounds like a great pet, a pet that can whip you, scratch you, bite you. I always trim her nails. The nails are some of the sharpest nails in the animal kingdom. They're about as sharp as a cat's nails. Maybe even worse. Iguanas are amazing arboreal lizards, so they climb trees. That helps them to file their nails naturally, but that's the reason they have such sharp nails. And they can also kick and claw their enemies too. Yeah, I found her at it was a flea market. I didn't find her myself, but I came across her in a weird little pet store in Florida. Didn't really need to have an iguana. Emma says, do they have to live near water? So usually they prefer to live near water. They have to drink water. They like to swim. They also use the restroom, typically in the river. So they'll go for a little soak or a swim in the river and use the restroom. That's what Joanna does as well here in my care. She will go into her water tub and use the bathroom. And I have to change it out. But it's kind of nice because she'll always go to the bathroom in the water. So I can expect that. Not a big deal. And she's outside this time of year. She's outside as long as it's 60 degrees and up. She gets to live outside. And that is the best for these guys because they need a lot of natural sunlight to thrive, natural UV rays. Otherwise, you have to provide them with lots of special lighting and things. So the natural sun is best, and they like it hot and humid. So a lot of times I have to go out there and give them a shower. Of course, she has a pool to bathe in and go to the restroom in. all the things, very high maintenance. So not a great pet for most people, right? Do not get an iguana. Most iguanas are not nearly this handleable. I've been working on Joanna's handling behavior and tolerance for a long time. And as you can see, she's still very wiggly. But they do love water. Like I said, they drink the water. They live in the tropics, so drinking the water off the leaves and eating the water while they eat leaves is their main way to get water source to like drink. But they do go down to the water to swim, get away from their enemies, and use the restroom. Viviana is asking, how long are their tongues? Their tongue is short. They don't have a long tongue like a chameleon or anything like that. They don't need to be able to catch bugs because they don't eat bugs. They eat leaves of trees and flowers and fruits. Unless a bug crawls onto their leaves, I guess they can occasionally eat one, but that's not part of their diet on a normal basis. The tongue is just kind of like almost like a human length tongue to proportion inside of their mouth. It is pink. It is very cute. They do use it to kind of lick up things to get a taste of what's going on around them. But they're not going to stick it out like a snake, and definitely not as long as like a chameleon or something like that, in case that's what you meant. Let me see what else you guys have to say. Do they have teeth? Yes. Ricky is asking if they have teeth. Absolutely. These guys have some of the most sharp, razor sharp teeth. They're not very big, but there are many, many, many of them. One of these days, I'm going to look up how many teeth they have, but their teeth actually do regenerate. If they lose their teeth, they can regenerate them, so it can vary. If they lose a tooth, it's fine. It'll grow back just like a crocodile's tooth. In case you didn't know that, crocodiles and alligators can regrow their teeth too. Pretty amazing. Oh, you're welcome, Viviana. No problem. So these guys do have razor sharp teeth. They are not for eating prey, right? They're not predators. They're for eating leaves. Now, you might be thinking, why does she need sharp teeth to eat leaves? Well, if you think about the trees that they live in the wilds of Central and South America, some of those trees are pretty tough. They're out there in the jungle. I think she's going to stick out her tongue for you guys. Sometimes she'll stick out her tongue to see what's going on. Kind of like that, just a little bit. It's super cute. And I do have some videos over on TikTok. If you guys want to join us over there on TikTok and follow us if you have TikTok. If you don't, that's okay. We have some videos of her eating, at least one, and you can see the tongue while she's eating. Her video is pretty cool. It kind of sticks to the leaves. But the reason they need sharp teeth is to be able to tear off chunks of those great big jungle leaves that they eat in the wild. So they kind of eat like a shark, even though a shark is eating meat, right? If you've ever seen a shark, they kind of bite onto an animal. Just kidding, I'm not going to bite my iguana. By the way, that's the reason they have all these really cool scales on their back all the way down, is to be able to deter animals from biting them. So if I stick my face into it's almost like a porcupine. Not nearly as severe, but it's definitely uncomfortable. So if a eagle's feet or a cat's mouth touch that, they might let go and say, "Oh, what was that? I don't want to eat that." It's a little bit weird. That helps them to be protected, because most of the animals that eat them, their predators, are coming from above. That's why they have the third eye scale, right? That can see things a little bit, and that's why they have these things on the back, the spikes, and they're just modified scales too. What an amazing adaptation! But yeah, they do eat a little bit like a shark. They're gonna bite onto a leaf and then kind of go like that, and they might stomp on it a little bit with their little hand, or like kind of put their hand on the leaf and then rip it like this. And then they will get a nice chunk of leaf to eat. That's why they need serrated, sharp, very, very sharp, very, very sharp teeth. Very sharp. They absolutely do have teeth. They're hard to see, but they're there. I promise. Which is the predator, Emma Luce? Thank you for the question. They are mainly preyed upon by, anything in Central and South America that might eat them, but birds of prey are a huge one. She's always looking out for hawks and eagles outside, and vultures. Vultures won't eat her, but she's always kind of like suspicious of them because that's her main predator by instinct. This animal has never lived, to my knowledge, in Central and South America. I'm pretty sure she came from the United States as a bred animal, but I could be wrong. Being a Florida animal, which is where I got her from. Who knows? She could have been brought in out of the wild from Central America. She could have been an invasive iguana in the first place. I really have no idea. That's the one thing about adopting animals, is you don't really know their history. So it's a little risky in that way, but honestly, it's so rewarding. It's so worth it. But Lisa is asking, is she my only iguana? Yes, she's the only iguana currently that we have. And she's enough, to be honest with you. Iguanas are a huge handful and a lot of care. But I wouldn't mind adopting another tame-ish iguana, but iguanas are really hard to tame. So it would be a big risk for us to take in another iguana, because we kind of do hope for animals that are going to be able to work in programs, right? So a very aggressive animal is not really going to be an ideal candidate. Now, it depends on the situation, and if we just have the space and an iguana really desperately needs a home, maybe we'll consider it. So everything is on a case-by-case basis, but I'm not in a hurry to get another iguana, that's for sure. They're not social. They do live in trees with potentially other iguanas around, but they're pretty territorial. They can get used to living together on a case-by-case basis. But male iguanas especially will absolutely fight and even kill each other. So males definitely don't get along. Females, it's a little iffy. They're not super happy about it, but if they have a ton of room or maybe a separate enclosure, they might be able to get along, seeing each other every now and then, but they're not in a hurry to have a companion iguana. This iguana, Joanna, actually lives with a couple of our tortoises that we have outside in the outside pen because it's very good for tortoises to also have sunlight. They get along just fine because they don't really care about each other very much. They also eat the same food, so if some of her food falls down to the ground and the tortoises want to eat it, fine. She also lives outside with our wood ducks as well because, again, the wood ducks are totally fine. They kind of mind their own business. She minds her own business. The enclosure is plenty big enough for all of them to get along. The wood ducks actually live in a separate little section at night. That way they can get some alone time too. Oh, did you guys see that behavior? So iguanas actually sneeze a lot. Did you see the sneeze? That was pretty cool. So iguanas will expel the salt in their body. They can't sweat, but they'll sneeze it out of their nostrils. Isn't that cool? And that is all iguana species, including marine iguanas, especially marine iguanas, because they are around a lot of salt water. But these guys also build up excess salt in their body and they sneeze it out. Isn't that cool? I'm pretty sure I had another question that I didn't answer yet. The predator. So birds of prey and big cats, small cats, crocodiles, caiman, things like that live in Central and South America. So any larger or smaller predator, because these guys start off small. So a baby iguana can definitely get eaten by almost any predator. They're pretty small when they come out of the egg. But by the time they get this big, it's going to be things like birds of prey, larger cats, dogs, things like that. Even feral species. So feral species of cats and dogs, but all kinds of wild versions of those as well. Very, very good. So Joanna, I'm so happy to have her in my life. Again, I've had her for a long, long time. I don't know what I would do without her. Slytherin's been in my life for about 3 or 4 years now, but Joanna, over 10 years. So she's one of my oldest friends, isn't she? She's like, I'm not your friend. I just tolerate you. Yes, ma'am. No problem. You ready to go back down? I think she's about ready. Again, they're not the fondest of being held, so we try to keep things a little bit shorter with animals like Joanna, who get a little bit cranky about it. And that's okay. She does really, 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 really well for an iguana, so I can't complain. And she's a wonderful animal ambassador to talk about and educate the public with, because a lot of times these guys end up in the homes of other people. And just like with her, they couldn't keep her anymore or didn't want to. Maybe they could, but they just didn't want to anymore. They're not an ideal pet. They're definitely not an easy pet, and sometimes definitely not a fun pet. They're also kind of expensive. We have a huge enclosure for her that is over 6 foot high. It's a walk-in enclosure, and that's where she's happiest. She has a bunch of perching and branches to climb up in, and all kinds of things. You can check us out on TikTok. There are a few videos. Oh, good night, Joanna. Good night. Love. Tickle, tickle. See her cute little belly. Her belly is so green. Oh, so beautiful. Green iguanas can change color a little bit. She's pretty green right now, right? It's bright in here, so it's a little bit lighter than it actually looks. But they can change to brown if they feel a little bit cold and they want to get some more sun and get some more, absorb some more heat, right? That's most lizards can do that. Relax, baby, relax. So by the way, this isn't comfortable for her to be climbing and crawling all over my hands, but I'm being very calm because I know if I fight it, it's just going to be worse. So I'm just going to kind of let her settle on her own. But I think she's ready to go back down. I do want to show you guys her third eye that she does have, which is just a scale. So I'm going to show you and look at that beautiful dewlap. The dewlap is this flap of skin below. She can tuck it in at will because she has a cartilage right here, which can stick out like a finger and bring that out. She can do that for a couple of reasons. One is going to be communication. If she's feeling territorial and wants to show other iguanas or humans sometimes that she's the boss, she's going to stick out that big dewlap and look really big. It also might be for predators to show that she's too big to eat. She is too big to eat for some predators. And also it can be to get more sun. So she can stick it out. It'll turn really dark and she can absorb more heat that way and get more sun. But I do want to show you that scale. Let's see if she'll let me. Just gonna dip her down a little bit. Can you guys see? It is right here by my finger. That is the third eye, if you will. It's not really an eye. Hope you got a chance to see that. That's about all she'll tolerate of that. And that is her clear scale that she can see out of. I'm gonna wait for her to calm down. Oh, that's very good. Right on cue. So sometimes lifting her up like this makes them feel more comfortable because they're a tree-dwelling lizard. But then she's being so good right this moment, I'm going to set her down now because that is good animal training. We want to encourage good behavior. So if she's wiggling around, I'm going to wait for her to calm down because that's not the behavior I want, right? And we work with positive reinforcement with our lizard and all of our animals. So now that she's settling down and being calm, she can get to go back down. Very good job, Joanna. The best iguana in the land. And the boss lady. Like she thinks she is. Okay, Joanna did a great job. And now she's put back away for now. Thank you guys so very much for having patience with me. She did do so good. She is doing so well. Absolutely. I want to make sure I didn't... She is intimidating. Now, that is no shame in you saying that. Oh, and I'll get back to you, Emma Luce, on this question. If you want to send me a photo or whatever through Messenger or let me know, I'll be sure to let you know depending on what you're talking about. Because there's many species of iguana, so it just depends on what you're talking about. Yes, so no shame in it. Iguanas are very intimidating. They try to be intimidating to scare you away, or to scare their predators away, or to be territorial because they're territorial even with their iguanas. But what a cool story, right? So she just, I mean, I don't think anything's by chance. I think it was meant to be. I happened to walk into that flea market that I never ever went to. It was just super random that I was even there and saw her in the dark in a corner in a random enclosure and just kind of offered her a home that day. And she's been with me ever since, pretty much. So I will, let me set up my camera really fast and we'll take a swift break. I'll be right back with our third animal ambassador and our final animal ambassador for the night. I shall return in one moment. Absolutely. Well, hey, everybody. It looks like I have a walking wig here to see me. Can you hear him? This is Iggy the guinea pig. You need to turn around. Everybody can see you. Shall we give you a snack to enjoy here on the table? Let's turn you around. There you go. I'm also going to turn our lamp down just a little bit because he's just so brightly colored. I'm going to turn this down. You guys can see Iggy. Look how cute he is. You guys. We love Iggy the guinea pig. Iggy, I would venture to say, is my favorite mammal in our animal team, and he is just so special and so wonderful. He is a Peruvian guinea pig, which is a long-haired breed, and we do have 4 guinea pigs here in our collection here at Once in a While, but Iggy is the best one. And Iggy is a hand-me-down rescue guinea pig. Isn't that cool? So he came to us through a woman who needed a home for him. And she could no longer care for him, but she had actually gotten him from someone else. So there's no telling how many homes this guy has had in his life. We don't know his age, but we estimate he's around 2-ish now, but we really don't know. So that is, again, one of the kind of downsides of adopting instead of shopping. But let me tell you what, that is so worth it. All you have to do is kind of get them looked over by a vet is what I would recommend. If you've never, you didn't know their history, you don't know where they came from, you want to make sure they're healthy once you bring them into your life, or adopt them from a adoption agency or somewhere responsible that's already done that for you. But it's really a good idea in general, no matter if you have shopped for your animal or adopted your animal, to get them looked at by your vet. That way you can establish a good, good record of their health. Maybe your vet would have recommendations that the last vet didn't have. And of course, you always want to have like an exotic vet on hand. I think I'm going to turn down this lamp as well. It's just so bright for Iggy. Let's see here. Yeah, he's so he's like a little angel on this table. He is an angel. He's an angel in my life. Come on, back over here. He loves his snacks, so we're gonna give him some more snacks. He is so cute. So guinea pigs are excellent pets. I do recommend them for families. I never recommend animals for just children, but they are wonderful with children. They are, excuse me, emotional. No, just kidding. Just a dry throat. They are definitely high maintenance. They're not a low maintenance pet, but they're a very, very good, gentle, and sweet pet. They are domesticated. Guinea pigs actually came from South America originally. They were domesticated about 4,000 years ago or more by the Incas over in South America. And they were originally domesticated from a species known as the cavy. And there are many species of cavy in Central and South America, but the ones that they come from is no longer alive anymore. They are extinct, which is kind of sad. But they have been domesticated for thousands of years by the Incas originally, and then brought over to many, many countries after that because of how sweet and easy they are to get along with people, and they're actually pretty easy to breed and care for and maintain because they're small. They were originally bred for food, kind of like any other agricultural animal. Right? Don't tell Iggy that. We're definitely not going to do that to him. He is our friend and animal ambassador, so he's not going to be eaten. But that is the original reason that they came into human care in the first place. And then they also became good pets for like kiddos and all kinds of families and things like that. So that became kind of a common thing even back in the old days, which I find fascinating. But since then, they have developed all kinds of breeds of guinea pig, including the Peruvian and some other long-haired guinea pigs. But originally, in South America, where they come from, the wild version, of course, they have short hair, they have longer legs, and even more upright ears than a guinea pig has after being domesticated. So you see his ears kind of flop over like a pretty flower, like a little rose petal. That's how guinea pigs' ears usually look. And they're just fantastic. But Iggy was actually a hand-me-down guinea pig. He is absolutely the sweetest animal. He loves people. He will run straight to me when I open the door to come in the morning and anytime. In fact, right before the program, I went in to go see him, and he was like, hi! He is super excited to see you all the time. Guinea pigs get their name from the sounds that they make. And this is all speculation because I wasn't around 5,000 years ago, of course, but the going guess as to why they call them guinea pig noises. So they do make kind of a squealing noise when they get really excited, especially when they know that food is coming and they want to get your attention. That's something that they do quite often. They make all kinds of different vocalizations. I would say over 20 different vocalizations to communicate with you as their person and also to other guinea pigs because they're very, very social. So that is usually what people typically think that they got their name pig from. And the part where it says guinea is after they were brought over to Europe, they were sold for 1 guinea. So guinea pig. And that is the main theory as to why they're called that. Oh my goodness, you're so cute. Let's turn around for the people. Yes, indeed. Isn't he just an angel? He's gonna scratch his little head really fast. Shall I scratch it for you? Do you hear the purring? Let's see if I can get him to do it again. So purring is also a happy sound, usually. Kind of like a cat. It's typically a happy sound, but sometimes can mean other things. But in Iggy's case, he's telling me that he likes scratches. Can you hear that? Would you like another treat? There you go. They are herbivores, just like the iguana. And they do eat all kinds of greens and mostly hay in my care, as well as specialized guinea pig pellets that have vitamin C in them. Okay, let's see. Oh, are you having issues as well? I didn't even know. I'm so very sorry. If you need to come back, that's totally fine. Let me know how it's looking now. And hopefully it's okay. Sometimes we have internet issues as well. I know there was kind of like stormy weather going on today, so maybe that was it. I also had to dip out to get the animal ready, so I don't know if that was part of it. So this is Iggy, Iggy the guinea pig. And, well, he's a guinea pig, not a genuine pig. So not a pig. In fact, they call them pigs just because they make piggy type sounds. So Iggy is named after Iggy Pop, the punk rocker, because of his crazy hair, if you know who that is. And also Iggy the piggy, right? Yes, so this can be a perk of adoption, is knowing how they are to be handled. So a lot of times, where are you going, Iggy? Come back. Come back. He'll come back. A lot of times you're adopting from like an organization or something like that that's going to help you with their care. That's going to help you know their personalities, maybe even screen the home that they're going to. Can you turn around, please? Can you turn around? You're so sweet. Everybody sing your bum. Yes. So it just really depends. So you always want to kind of like do your research, of course, on any adoption agency. Now, of course, you know, you want to use your own judgment as well. You can't just trust everybody blindly, right? But a lot of times, especially with like reptile rescues and other kind of exotic type animals, you're going to have experts that are helping you out. If you guys ever need any help with your animal care, feel free to contact Once in a Wild, because that is one of my expertises. Hello, Richard. It's so good to see you. I don't know if you saw the rest of the animals, but we had Slytherin and we had Joanna the Iguana on here as well. We're talking about rescue animals today. Iggy is actually a hand-me-down piggy. He is a guinea pig, of course, and he was brought into our life last year, I think. It's been a year now. Oh my goodness, it's been a year ago that we found you. Another animal destined to be at Once in a Wild. He is just wonderful. Anybody that meets Iggy just falls in love. And he's the best guinea pig that ever existed, kind of like my cat was. The best cat ever. Ah, okay. Yes. So Joanna is quite large too. Iggy, it looks really big on camera. Now he looks just like a wig. I told you, you look like a wig. Well, everybody says that. Your hair is so luxurious and beautiful. I'm trying to see if he'll purr again for you guys. But I can't imagine not having these animals in my life. Now, we do have a mix of animals that maybe came from rescue situations and some that have come from responsible breeders, etc. And it really all kind of depends on your situation. Always do a ton of research before bringing any animal into your life. And a cat or a dog needs special care and special research. And every animal is an individual. Shall we brush you? You look a little disheveled, like you have bedhead. So with the long-haired guinea pigs, they do need regular baths. I usually bathe them at least 3 times a month, depending on the situation. And I do brush them about every day. Guinea pigs also need their nails done about once a month at least. Yeah, guinea pigs are great animals though. But again, they're not low maintenance animals. They're pretty high maintenance. In fact, he's one of my higher maintenance animals as a species. And I do have 4 guinea pigs. They're very social, so you should not have just 1 guinea pig. If you ever want to adopt a guinea pig, you're going to have to adopt at least 2. And you always want to adopt them in the same gender, or have neutered and spayed individuals that cannot reproduce. Guinea pigs are not an animal you want to just breed if you don't know what you're doing, and that goes for any animal, honestly. Please do not just start breeding animals without having prior knowledge or some kind of expertise in that matter. That is not responsible, and there are many animals. Come back. And there are many animals that need homes already, so there's no reason for you to be breeding the animals. It's not really good for them, etc., unless you're a professional. Come back here. Come back here. Come on. You're so well trained. Come back over here. He's looking for more snacks, but I'm all out of them. You ate all the romaine. There's no more that remains. You ate it all. Let's pick you up. Boop. But there's actually a guinea pig rescue organization right here in San Antonio. So that's one place you can source your guinea pigs if you need one in your life. These guys do need to be in at least a pair of, like I said, same gender pair or neutered and spayed. These guys can actually reproduce very quickly. So even if you have baby guinea pigs that are together and they're a boy and a girl, they can be having babies as soon as 1 to 2 months old. Isn't that amazing? Guinea pigs are born very developed. We call that precocial in the animal world. The opposite is altricial. Altricial would be very underdeveloped, like mice and rats are born very altricial. They don't have any hair, they can't see, they can't hear, they rely on their mom for every last thing. And guinea pigs are actually born, they still have to nurse for a while, not very long. They're born with full hair. They're born with their eyes open, ears open, everything good, running around, ready to conquer the world. And they can actually reproduce as soon as 1 month old. Isn't that amazing? So you definitely don't want to have like siblings together, etc. So even if they are very young, you want to get them away from each other if they're the opposite gender, because you definitely don't want to be dealing with more babies. Yes, we love him. Yes, now I see what you're saying. So you can get prior knowledge of the animal, right? So if somebody has already, they have an organization to adopt animals, they've probably gotten to know them. So she says, Brian told me how chill and cuddly Rogan, the bearded dragon, is, and it's very true. How much does he weigh? I'm not sure how much Iggy weighs. That's a good question. Not very much. He's mostly hair. So he has a great big hairball. Sorry, buddy, you just star. Come back over here. He's so cute. He's like wandering around to the front to see if there's more snacks. Why don't you hang out with me, please? Just hang out. He's so sweet. So he doesn't weigh very much. I'll weigh him for you and get back to you. I probably should be weighing my guinea pigs to get updates on them anyway. Joanna weighs 2.2 kilograms currently, which is a great healthy weight for her, if you're wondering about that. Yes, very, very good. I do recommend adult guinea pigs over baby guinea pigs. Again, adults need homes more than the babies, but you can also get to know their personalities. Our next guinea pig, if we get another one someday, we already have 4, so we don't need any right now, will definitely be a rescue adult. Iggy's actually the only rescue guinea pig we have. The rest of them are from responsible breeders that we found. And those animals needed homes too, so it is what it is. But now that we kind of have gotten to know Iggy, and he's just awesome, I do recommend that. So next time, we know. That's just something that you learn as you go. Okay, you guys, it's been a lot of fun. I hope you have enjoyed this presentation. Please feel free to check us out next week again, next Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. Central Time here in San Antonio is where we are. If you guys want to if you guys do want to book us for a virtual encounter, you can book us for a Zoom room animal encounter, right? You learned all about that at the beginning of the program. Let me know if you're interested. My number's down below, and you can reach us always at onceinawild.com also. Those are a lot of fun. You can also schedule your in-person animal encounter if you're right here in the San Antonio, Texas area. And those are really fun as well. On a case-by-case basis, we are wearing our masks. Trying to be responsible, of course, and it is going to be for smaller groups, but give us a call if you're interested, and we'll discuss all the options for you. Those are a lot of fun. I hope you have enjoyed this free live stream show, as always, but if you want to donate or tip to our zoo, the options are down below with Venmo and Cash App, and we also do have PayPal, for those of you that like PayPal too. And there's also our Amazon wish list, which is found at onceinawild.com all the way at the bottom. It's been a lot of fun, right, Iggy? You got to eat some snacks. People got to learn all about guinea pigs and all kinds of amazing adopted animals. If you can, I do recommend adopting before shopping and on a case-by-case basis, depending on your situation. If you ever need advice, please contact us at any time to get your animal advice and let us know if you need anything whatsoever. We're always here for you guys, and I do mean that. So thanks so very much for joining in, Samantha. I'm so glad you had fun. Sorry if there were any connection issues or anything like that. I didn't notice anything on my end, but sorry about that. If there were, hopefully they're okay now, and I'll have to watch back to see what happened. Right, Iggy? And purr one more time for us. No, just a little purr. Okay, guys, it's been a lot of fun. We hope to see you next time here at Once in a Wild. Bye. We are nothing close to ordinary, but we love to be your friend. Hold our hands and let's have fun together, singing as loud as you can. Everybody singing Once in a Wild. Together. Once in a Wild. I wanna hear you say Once in a Wild. Never fun for me and you. Iggy was just cleaning himself, which was so cute. Hopefully he'll do it again before we say goodbye. Thank you guys so very much. Once again, if you need anything, let me know. My contact is down below. You gonna groom yourself? Usually after they eat, they'll groom themselves. So super cute, especially with all that long hair. Someone's got to maintain it, not just me. You got to do a little bit of work, right, Iggy? Now, please stay tuned on Saturday. We hope to see you again, not just next Wednesday at 6:30, but this Saturday, September 5th, we do have a collaboration with Once Upon a Party, and we're going to be joining in with Spider-Man at 10 a.m. Central here on Saturday. So we hope to see you on Saturday. Bring your family, and we'll see you for that special showtime, or you can rewatch it after it's over. Thanks so very much, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.